Welcome. Our next adventure's been a while coming. It was pushed further back than I'd been wanting it to due to a lot of reasons. Unfortunately, this one is not the project I'd been really looking forward to taking a crack at. As I've mentioned in a couple discussions recently, I was doing some prep work on it when I realized I'm not quite at the point yet where I feel like I'm ready to take it on and show it to the best of my abilities. So there's been a change of plans. Instead, we're going to play through a fun little spin-off that, screw it, you clicked on the video, you see the title already. So pack your clubs and your silly golfer's hat, and let's begin. Welcome to Let's Play Kirby's Dream Course? Yeah, not your typical fare for a Let's Play channel, I know. But I played the hell out of this thing back when I was a kid in the 90s. And apparently so did a lot of other people, as I've been finding out recently. So I thought, hey, why not? So, some quick overviews of the modes available to us right here. We have a single-player campaign, a little multiplayer face-off, and what is called demo play. You see, the localization in this game isn't the best, so it's actually a set of tutorials. And so we want to check in on this first one real fast, just to get a general gist of how this game functions for those of you who haven't seen this before, and there's probably quite a few who haven't. You see, Kirby's Dream Course, as I've mentioned already, is essentially a golfing game with a unique Kirby-esque spin on it. We'll be using various types of shots and styles to defeat every enemy on each hole as quickly and with as few shots as possible, and then clear each hole in succession and go from course to course, and you know how this kind of stuff works. So, this game, to be honest, it can be pretty challenging even if you know what you're doing. There's quite a bit of precision involved, quite a bit of wanting an innate understanding of how the game functions. And there are some unique elements there, like that tomato you saw there. That's part of a health system that is present in this game. Yes, Kirby has health in a golf spin-off, just like he does in the regular platformers. And you have to factor that into how you approach each hole, in addition to this mechanic right here, which was mentioned in the tutorial itself there a minute ago. The fact that the cup on each hole is not in a single distinct location every time. In fact, when you've defeated every enemy except for one, the last enemy becomes the cup. And it leads to a whole lot of various different strategies and stuff, depending on how you approach each hole. There's a lot of depth in this game, and I want to show it as good as I can. As good as I can. Well, hopefully I show the game a little better than my grammar skills are being right now. So, without further ado, let's head into the single-player game. And so we have to create a file here. It's they're set up as members because, you know, golf spin-off. So in an interesting change of pace, this game actually has you create an image to use for your file. So you can draw with A, erase with B, press L or R to rotate between these various symbols that you can add. So if you don't mind me, I'm gonna create a little something here just so we can tell which file is ours. Just give me a minute here. Well, it's not the prettiest, but it'll do. It's you know, like I tried to make something there, but it kind of came out wrong. Oh well, I don't really consider myself an artist. It'll do for now. Let's just go with it. Let's just shove it aside and pretend it didn't happen. So anyway, the premise of the game is that King Dedede has managed to steal the tripping all over myself. First I draw that and then I do... Anyway, okay, so the premise is that King Dedede has managed to steal the stars out of the night sky of Dreamland, and Kirby, being the intrepid hero he is, has stormed Dedede's flying fortress to take the stars back. How this translates into a golf game, I'm not sure, but it's just an excuse plot anyway, so let's enter Course 1. Little cinematic here, showing off something to do with the course. What do we have here? Are those copy abilities? I believe they are. Wouldn't be a Kirby game without them. And here we have our first hole. Something, ain't it? That first level's always just, it sticks with you. So, we got a lot to explain here. A lot that the tutorial didn't cover anyway. You can rotate the guide by pressing left and right. Rotate it left, left moves it counterclockwise, right moves it clockwise. You can also press L and R to move the guide at 45-degree angles. You can press down on the D-pad to extend the guide to show a longer range of where Kirby will go if you hit him. The longer and shorter guides do not have different power settings. They're the same. In fact, the shorter guide shows about where Kirby will go if you hit him at 1/3 power, the long guide at half. Furthermore, if you hold Y down and move the D-pad, you can get a full free view of the hole and take a look around and plan your shots out. And we also have first of several objects here. You see these green lines here? That is simply enough a border. If Kirby touches a border while he's on the ground or at a low enough height in the air, he'll bounce off it and head in a direction depending on the angle of the border. It might send him back the way he came, it might send him at an angle. Math and physics apply here. Okay, so I know that's a lot to go over, but it's the first hole and all this stuff is very important. So, let's get this shot over with. You can see this is our first shot by the one going over our head. For this first shot, we want to hit it about 2/3 power. Fun fact, if you press A at just the right spot, you can actually boost at certain sections, and if we do that at just the right angle, we can land it in a single shot. Here's to our first hole-in-one of many, guys. Oh, and speaking of health and lives, hole-in-ones are your way of obtaining one-ups. So there's a lot to go in, there's a lot that goes into thinking of how to approach each hole and plan each shot. There's a lot that goes into it. And as you can see, we have 7 more to take care of on this course. Every course has 8 holes, and each one of them is more complicated than the last. Just from the start here, we have a new object here on the left. That's called, well, I call it an arrow button. I'm not sure what the official name is. I'm not sure it has one. If you hit an arrow button, you will have your trajectory change to follow the exact direction of the arrow while maintaining the exact speed and momentum you had before. Furthermore, as you see here, now we have slopes and different height changes in play in bounds. It gets, they take full advantage of that from here on out, guys. It gets very complicated. In addition, there's a lot more you can do with shots than simply hitting them in a straight line. You see, if you hold the B button down and press left or right, you can add a curve to your shots. This adds a whole lot of complexity in exactly how you approach each hole, and it's very, very cool. Keep in mind, though, that this curve here only shows the curve Kirby will follow if you fire him at full power. If you use less than full power, the curve will be a little tighter than that since he's not moving as fast. It's, not gonna lie, it's kind of deceptive. There are some shortcomings in this game, I'm not gonna lie. There's some places where it hasn't aged the best. But, it is what it is. So, what we actually want to do here is set this up curve to the right just once, and we want to time this just right, just over half power. If we do this right, boost a little here, land, and miss the kaboo completely. And if we time this just right, we're going to land behind that second one. That first shot wasn't very good, but if we do this right, we should be okay. We'll be able to clip that first one, and with our second shot, time this just right. And if you've noticed by now, this checkerboard pattern on the holes is actually very convenient because it gives you an accurate idea of exactly how hard you need to hit Kirby. Come on, get there, get there, get there, get there, get there. Got it. That would have been embarrassing getting a 3 there. So that's a 3 after 2 holes. It's not too bad. Hole 3 brings with it a new set of obstacles and something interesting. You see this glowing enemy, this Starman. Yes, that's what it's called. If you haven't played these Kirby games before or know the enemy names in detail, it gives us the first copy ability we've seen so far. This one gives you none other than high jump. We'll go into detail on that in a minute. But to approach this hole the best, we'll need to take advantage of another part of Kirby's arsenal. If you press up on the guide, you can fire an aerial shot. Yes, these are very important. You see, while grounded shots let you cover more distance, aerial shots allow you more precision in general. Keep in mind when you fire an aerial shot, the guide shows you 3 bounces, as you can see there, and it shows how far Kirby will travel if you hit him with full power as opposed to 1/3 or 1/2 with the grounded guide. Yes, it's not the most intuitive, and you'd have to figure it out through trial and error. It's kind of not the best setup, but once you get used to it, you can work with it. I'd rather it would be a little more user-friendly, but we can work with it for now. In addition, you know how you can apply curve to grounded shots? Well, when you're firing an aerial shot, you can also put spin on it. That includes side spin, or, in this shot in particular, top or back spin. And for this shot in particular, we want to apply maximum backspin. So if you see, we will be heading backward, and we want to line up with that arrow button to head on our way. So when you fire an aerial shot, you'll start off by having this little bar move up and down, and that lets you determine how much top or backspin you have. So you want to use precision air to get the exact kind you want. Here we want max backspin, max power if we can get it. We want bounce, boost, keep going. That'll create the hole. The thing with high jump is it carries you exactly 6 squares forward. Let's land on the arrow button, boost a little more, and if we time this just right, and jump right past it. Let's play Curse, you will be the death of me. So as you see there on a flat surface, high jump carries you exactly 6 squares, like I said. It will let you get over any obstacles on the ground, hit any enemies sitting in the air if you're too low to hit them normally, and will let you travel up or down heights that you might not be able to otherwise. It's a very versatile ability if you know how to use it. And Hole 4 brings us a whole host of new obstacles. First of all, we have these glowing spikes down here. You want to avoid those, as that was probably really obvious. Touch them, you'll lose a piece of health. And considering, hold on here, Kirby only has four segments of health before he loses a life. You don't want to run low on health if at all possible. And you want to kill as many enemies in each shot as you can, by all means. I mean, not only is it a golf game in which you want to... Sorry about that. Excuse me, guys. I'm still getting over that head cold from last week. You want to finish in as few shots as possible, and every enemy you kill and every cup you fall into gives you 1 piece of health. There, I said it. In addition, we have 2 types of enemy hazards here. Wispy, which just bounces you off harmlessly without causing damage, and Gordo, which does cause damage if you touch it and cannot be defeated through any normal means. And finally, trust me, I promise that we're almost done with this little exposition here. We have another object in the form of blue warps. If you touch one, you'll be warped to the other, and you'll be warped out facing the direction that little arrow on the side of them is pointing. Got all that? Good, because we're not going to be using any of them here to get this hole in one. We're going to be taking advantage of these 2 borders here and how they're set up, as well as our brand new high jump ability. You see, what you want to do before you plan out this, well, while you're planning out this shot, is remember that high jump carries you exactly 6 squares. So if we want to set this up just right, 4, 5, 6. Sorry about that again. Excuse me, I want to get this out to you as soon as I can, guys. Promise. So we want to get this out here. Time is just right to jump over Wispy. Land on this Kaboo. Boost. Boost. Time is just right. Boost again. And if we do this just right, we can land right on the lip of the cup. That's a gimme. Come on, game. A no power shot is just a little tap that can get you into the cup if you're right on the edge. And so we're heading onto the back 4 with a score of 7. Could have been 4, could have easily been 5, but we'll take it. The second half of the course brings with it some new music. And if you listen closely, it might sound a little familiar. Yes, it's none other than a remix of the Float Islands theme from Kirby's Dream Land 1. That thing just keeps showing up, huh? So while we have no new obstacles to speak of in this course, this hole, we do have a pause menu to take a look at. It's very simplistic and doesn't actually really serve any super useful functions as far as pause menus go because, you know, you're not shooting at the moment, so it doesn't stop the action. You can continue. You can head back to the course select screen if you decide that your current run through a course is just completely irredeemable and want to start over, or you can quit back to the main menu. So for this shot, we want to take advantage of that border on the back there. Actually, first, let's take a look at this. See, what we want to do here is we actually don't want to hit the back end of that slope here and go careening forward. We actually want to take this a little safer. We want to land roughly where that second Kaboo is. So if you count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we want to be roughly around the middle of that blue square on the middle of that slope. There will be a little bit of a difference since we'll be slightly up higher, but the vertical height isn't as important as the horizontal distance here, so you want to be right around there. Fire this off at max power. Doesn't matter that we'll come back here because we just hit the border and head back down toward this. Oh no. Let's play Curse, you suck. So we want to head down here. High jump right here. Land on the Kaboo. Boost. We'll overshoot a little here, but we'll be okay because we'll have this to fall down. And we're good. One of these days I'll get a hole in one. One of these days. Ever tell you about the time I scored a 9 on this course? on my practice run a couple weeks ago. Because I did. Hole 6 brings us something a little different again, and another new ability, this Parasol Waddle Doo of all things. This is the only Kirby game in which you'll see that with regularity. Will give us the Parasol ability. It'll let us hit the brakes if we're on the ground, slowing down gradually, and if we're in the air, let us pull out the umbrella right away and slowly fall to the ground. While we got the umbrella out, we'll be able to rotate left and right by using the D-pad. Counterclockwise is left, clockwise is right, as per usual. Keep that in mind so you don't get confused and miss the hole. So if we just lazily fall down here, careful, the arrow, hit the parasol. If we turn it just the right angle here, we can just slowly fall into the cup, and there we go! Oh, that's a relief. This is actually one I kind of screw up the hole-in-one on every now and then because I misjudge exactly when I need to turn there. But we got it. That's good. It's another one up, another fancy little star next to our scorecard there. And it's on to hole 7. And we got yet another hazard here in the form of, well, it wouldn't be a golf game without a water hazard. If you're traveling across this and don't have enough momentum, whether that be not moving very fast on the ground or not having enough spin in the air, you'll fall in. Fortunately, you won't take a penalty stroke, but you will have to get your way back out of it. It's almost impossible to get out with a grounded shot because the water dampens your grounded momentum, no pun intended. So you'll have to use an aerial shot, and it's generally just kind of a pain to get out of. You want to keep it from happening if at all possible. And so we're going to avoid that by using the other type of spin that we haven't used so far, top spin. With maximum top spin, this will carry us exactly how we want it. So we set this up, top spin, full power. Boost here for the hell of it. And then we time this just right. Boost a little. Parasol to hit the brakes to ensure we don't overshoot. And we're in for another hole-in-one. Nice and clean. And so we're heading off to the final hole. Looking pretty nice. Nothing but ones and twos. It's very nice. Let's keep that. Keep that going. Hole 8 brings us a change in music, signifying that it's the final, biggest challenge of the course, and another new object to deal with, a water draining switch. Let's just call it that. So that does exactly what you'd expect. We'll get a better glimpse of that in a minute. Interesting setup here. This is going to be our first hole so far that it is not possible to get a hole-in-one on. We're going to be shooting for a birdie. So we got these two caboose set up here, and then one further down. As you might guess, we're going to have to use Parasol to reach that one, but we're going to have to find a way to set that up first. So for this first shot, we're going to want just a little under 3/4 power. Hit the switch draining the water. If you do hit the switch again, you will, Well, that did not work as planned. Well, of course it didn't. Damn near nothing is working right on this so far. So, how do we want to do this? Let's do this. Just a little under full power. We want to curve inward a little, hit that kaboo. We're not going to be able to get a 2 on this. Let's use Parasol to hit the brakes. Fairly effective, as you see there. And we might not even need to use Parasol. You see, if we time this just right, we use just the right amount of backspin. 3 notches of backspin will make Kirby bounce hardly any. He will bounce with hardly any forward momentum at all. It's very nice for shots where you're very, very close to the cup, but not quite. So if we time this just right, that's too much. So we're going to have to break out Parasol anyway. Well, let's hope this is enough. Turn this back around. And yes! Wow, I was just waiting for that not to work. So, course 1 complete. Neat little unique animation and a star rocket there. See you, Kirby. Our final score, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 3, for a grand total of 14 strokes. That's a very nice score, if I do say so myself. So we finished off course 1 on a pretty high note, receiving a gold medal for our troubles. And of course, since we just finished a level in a Kirby game, the Kirby dance. So this shows how we measure up compared to various NPCs who tried out the course. We beat Poppy Bro Jr. there pretty handily. And so with course 1 out of the way, we can head on to the next one. Before we head back here real fast, I want to talk a little real fast about various medals. You see, you can obtain a gold, silver, or bronze medal on each course depending on how skillfully you do it, that is to say, how few strokes you finish it in. The thresholds for each medal vary from hole to hole, and so it's an incentive to finish as well as possible. Sorry about that. That was just a little hiccup in my speaking. So, you do want to collect as many medals as you can, because if you can finish every course with a certain type of medal or better, like if you can finish every course with a certain ranking of medal, you will unlock stuff in the end. So yeah, medals are definitely something you want to obtain. So that's one course out of the way. I'm going to be tackling one course per episode in this Let's Play. So I guess you could say we're going to be heading back to the proverbial clubhouse for now. You can expect new episodes of this Let's Play on my channel every Tuesday and Saturday if things work as planned. So on those dates, keep an eye out on my channel and you'll be able to get more of this, whatever you want to call this, more of this Kirby golfing craziness. So, next episode, we're going to be tackling Course 2 and seeing what it has to offer. Until then.